There you are welcome to this day, Tuesday, the 21st of September 2021. That equally happens to be a day set aside for International Peace Day across the world. You are welcome to the program Press Brief. Press Brief, a quick reminder, it's your number one news magazine programs that comes up weekdays as from 9:30 local time in the same station. Joining us for the second part of the program, we'll be having some two fine gentlemen who are all journalists who will be telling us what the various newspapers have for us this day in the nation, Cameroon. Televiewers, just stay glued to your TV set as I'll be back for the first part of the program. Once again, you all are welcome back to the program. We start with the first part of the program. That's the paper review. We're going to be starting with the newspaper of late Chief Kemayang Paul. That's the Star. The Star for this morning says follow up of major national dialogue resolutions. Biya dispatches Prime Minister to Boya. That is what you can find on the front page of the Star for this morning. Still the same Star. This one says International Day of Peace 2021. Members of the Cameroon Association of Media Professionals (CAM) urges to over 1,000 prisoners at the Boya Central Prison to cultivate the culture of peace. Let's talk about sports this time around from the FICA Foot Southwest elections. It says 17 club promoters rally behind Henry Jalakwan Jr. That is what you can find on that set paper. We're going to be remaining in the city of Limbe this time around with a copy of the newspaper of Chief Zach. Eden for this morning says Southwest Northwest reconstruction strides challenges X-Rail. That is what you can find on that set paper. Eden for today. Talking about the CDC land wahala. This one says CDC General Manager Dibong alleged land surrender to some villages in Fako division. That story completes herself on page 4. We dive into this one from the Meme 1A CPDM reorganization exercise that says it's on fire. You can find that story on page 8. To wrap up with this other one, that's from the set paper that went further to give more the donations of truck to the Izakam company in Limbe. We'll move over to Yaoundé to meet the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post for this morning says drama in Yaoundé. Machetes wielding security guard shot up the Ministry of Transport. Get to read that story on page 3 on that set paper. That's the Guardian Post, the English Daily. And still in the same paper, it says renowned Catholic priest Reverend Father Etienne Kumba dies. So you can find that story on that set paper. We'll talk about the Anglophone crisis. This one says Biya regime time warning out for federalism. That story continues on that set paper. Let's take you to the Federal Republic of Nigeria this time around, where they say some 50,000 Anglophone refugees are actually lamenting over there in Nigeria. We remain in Yaoundé with a copy of the Herald Tribune. The Herald Tribune for this morning says armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions, proactive silence of foreign bodies. So get to read that story on that set paper. Meanwhile, journalists in Douala were drilled on legal reporting under the banner of Kamasesh, the Douala chapter. We'll wrap up with this other story from the set paper that talks about a violation of ethics. It says Biya sanctioned 12 police officers. Get to read that story on that set paper. We'll remain in Yaoundé with a copy of Randy Josa's newspaper, The Voice. The Voice for this morning says human life waste in northwest and southwest regions upbeating the ante. That is what The Voice for this morning tells us. The Voice still come back to the celebration of ex-students of the Support Baptist High School. It says Asobek 94 donates 11 million CFA francs ultra-modern toilet to the school facility. We'll talk about the reconstruction of the northwest and southwest region. It says presidential plan for reconstruction of Northwest Steering Committee adopts action plan. So that is what the organization that is headed by Paul Tasson have. We'll move over to the Green City of Kumba to meet the scoop of Larry Esong. The scoop for this morning says government silence as 15 soldiers massacred in Gokotunja in the Northwest region. Still the same paper, this one says Tumfor Barrister Nico Halley engages with journalists in the fight against moral decadence. So find that story on page 12. We'll talk about the PM John Gute who storms the Southwest region today. We'll remain from Kumba. We'll move over to Yaoundé to meet the median of Stephen Ojong. The median says senseless self-defeating war. Bamising Butchery calls out to Yaoundé. That is what you can find on the median newspaper for this morning. Still the same paper. The paper comes back to Nalova Lyunga, who says she is limiting the payment of PTA fees at 25,000 francs. We'll take you to Kumba, where they say one throne, two chiefs, another Mukete crown fund of Kumba surfaces. Get to read that story on the median for this morning. Let's move over to the Southwest region to meet the post of late Francis Wachem. The post for this morning says government in search of CFA France 78.6 billion to reconstruct the Northwest and Southwest regions. Still the same paper. This one talk about the business climate in Nigeria and Cameroon. It says Public Works Minister assessing bridge linking Nigeria and Cameroon. That story, you can find it on page 2 on the Post newspapers. We'll talk about this other one that talks about the attack on police officers and some other men in uniform by some civilians. That is what you can find on the Post. Away from the Post newspaper, will take you to the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune for this morning says volleyball, Paul Biya congratulates the indomitable lionesses who have been making great strides. So that is what the newspaper of American tells us. And still the same paper, the paper says CPDM grassroots organs, first section presidents elected. That story completes herself on page 4 to page 5 on the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune. Still the same Cameroon Tribune, this one comes back to the Douala Edea accident that occurred yesterday. It says some 8 persons have died and many others wounded as a result of a ghastly motor road accident that took place yesterday in the Douala Idea stretch of roads. We'll take you to the newspaper of the owner of Equinox Television, Severin Chenko. That's La Nouvelle Expression. That comes back to the demise of a fine barrister at law in the person of Barrister Ngala, where they say homage paid to the late magistrate, the late lawyer by Monte. So get to read that story on that said paper. Still in the same light, in the ambit of the Anglophone crisis, the paper comes back to say Paul Biya called for Paul Biya call for calm in the Northwest and Southwest region. That story, you can find it on page 12 on that set paper. We'll move over to Douala to meet the economic newspaper Quotidien Economy. Quotidien Economy is more concerned about the business climate in Cameroon, and it went further to say the World Bank has given more accolades to the business situation in Cameroon. Get that story on page 3. We'll take you to this other story from the set paper that comes back to the various airport situation in the country as they x-ray the security situation of airports in the country. We'll take you to Canal Express for this morning says the Northwest and Southwest region is state of emergency. That's the question they are asking on their banner for this morning. And still the same paper, the paper comes back to the call made by Minister Nalova Lyunga on the payment of PTA levy as maximum should be 25,000 francs. We'll take you to set info for this morning. Is talking about the abandonment of local grown rice in the country for importation importation for the Western world, as they say. The basic commodity is actually skyrocketing. The prices are actually skyrocketing. Let's talk about the Anglophone crisis. This one says federalism is the only path to solve the Anglophone crisis. This one is coming from Diodone Isomba, who doubles as a political analyst and an economic in the nation Cameroon. We'll move over to Douala this time around with Quotidien Emergence for this morning. Quotidien Emergence says a day 7 persons die in a road accident, others wounded. That is what the private bilingual daily Quotidien Emergence tells us for this morning. Still the same paper, the paper says Cameroon is in search of 25 billion CFA francs for the funding of of her financial market. Will remain in the ambit of the Semak sub-region. This one says the balance of business vis-a-vis the Cameroon situation in the Semak sub-region. Get to read that story on that set paper. Let's take you to La Nouvelle. La Nouvelle for this morning talks about the active role that civil society and the state play in order to resolve certain issues in the country. Get to read that story on that set paper, and we'll take you to the Presidency of the Republic, where they say Paul Biya matches words with action that is regarding the public market situation in the country. Let's talk about health with the health newspaper Eco Sante. Eco Sante for this morning comes back to the price of excellence of leadership in the health situation in Cameroon, and it says some journalists have been nominated. Get to read that the health newspaper, and the various journalists were nominated. Talking about the African Cup of Nations for 2021, it says the Yaoundé Central Hospital have been given the first leave when it comes to the equipping of the hospital. Get to read that story on that set paper. Let's take you to the other French daily. That is Le Messager of late Pius Njaweh. Le Messager for this morning says Anglophone crisis. Is Nigeria actually playing a frank game? That's a big question the newspaper of our own late brother Pius Njaweh tells us for this morning. That's a big question they are asking, and we'll talk about this other one that talks about the situation in Kribi. It says Kribi is in anger against Paul Biya. What is it all about? Get a copy of that set newspaper and read that story on page 6. We'll wrap up with this one from Le Point Hebdo newspaper. Le Point Hebdo newspaper is concerned about the oldest political party in the country. That's the Union de Population du Cameroon, UPC, where they say UPC's division is immortal. That is what the Le Point Hebdo newspaper tells us for this morning. Same paper. The paper is asking another question: what is happening with the national hydrocarbon company known as SNH in her French acronym? Televiewers, this will put a wrap on the first part of the program. Our beautiful guests will be telling us more when we come back immediately after this. Just stay tuned. Alright, so viewers, you're once more welcome back to the program. This is the second part of the program where we'll be meeting our guests, and joining us in the studio are two gentlemen who have all of the fourth estate. That's the profession of journalism, mass communication. At my extreme left, we have the gentleman in the person of Elvis Tayon. Good morning to you and welcome to the studio.
Good morning, Larry. It's my pleasure marking present here today. Hopefully that it's raining Eboya, meaning it's raining cats and dogs at the time when the PM is coming in. Surely the message from the gods of Mount Fako are surely coming right down from the heavens above.
Okay, and besides me is seated a veteran journalist and the person of Prince Oro. Good morning to you, Prince, and welcome to the...
Larry, it's a pleasure as usual, being part of the platform. And I'm very sure that just like Elvis did mention, it's all big rain. It's all not too easy here this morning, as the rain is pouring at a very great dimension.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's because maybe for one reason or the other.
All right, so we're going to be starting with this caption from the Star of late Chief Kemang Paul for this morning says, follow up to measure national dialogue resolutions. Biya dispatches PM Dion Gute to Boya. What's your take on that? I start with you, Mr. Elvis Tayon.
Well, you know that every state's action has what we call feedback, which revolves around what we call political accountability. Now, in political accountability, there's what we call the positive political accountability and the negative political accountability. When I look at the move the PM is taking over to the Southwest, now the question is, why is he coming to the Southwest? And we are made to understand that he is on a move to implement some of the measures arrived at the national dialogue. It therefore means that it is a movement which is fruitless. Now, when you look at it, as we said sometimes, that you might be a government, but the people you govern should also have a say And sometimes when they give you a say, because they study from your schools and the program, you should be able to take a listen. Now, when you look at it, there were errors at the national dialogue. The foundation of the national dialogue was poorly built. And that's why we said that when it comes to conflict resolutions, it comes to international conflict resolutions as a science, in political science, X is X and Y is Y. Now, once you begin a formula wrong, anything that takes precedence automatically becomes wrong. We look at the national dialogue. Who were those who were present? Did it meet the criteria expected for the major steps of conflict resolution? No. What are some of the things that were missing? Key actors were not there. When you call CPD and family members and their acolytes, they come and sit down and you take a resolution.
But the invitation was extended. Let me just cue in here. Invitations were extended to the pro-separatist faction.
That is why I am telling you that under conflict resolution, it was totally wrong.
Okay.
In conflict resolution, when you carry out an invitation, when you want to meet the face of dialogue, one, there's a principle of neutrality.
Yeah.
Neutrality means that you should be calling me where I find myself okay to come there. Where I see that my security is jeopardized, automatically you are putting me out of it, no matter the statement you give. Point number two, when you are calling me, there should be a pre-dialogue whereby you don't sit and fix a date. You dialogue with the protagonists in the conflict, and then you come up with a date. Now, this one was not done. Yaoundé start there, arrange that date, as I said, they are current separatists. Do you think that any fool will leave from the diaspora to step in where he knows very well the consequences? Thirdly, there's supposed to be what we call a mediator. It was absent. You cannot be a footballer and a referee at the same time. In the case of the current conflict, if Yaoundé tells me that they are holding a dialogue where they are championing that dialogue, I say it fails on arrival. Okay. So these are some of the errors. There are quite many because of time constraint. I don't want to go into conflict resolution and international politics. But then what happens is that because it failed, that's why you realize that all the over 12 billion injected in it was wasted. Because what is the end result? If you hold a dialogue and thereafter you don't see any feedback, it means it was wasted. That is political science. Science means that if you put a theory and it does not give you an effect positive as expected, it means the theory was poorly formulated. And so we think that instead of the system adjusting these errors and putting in place now a proper avenue for dialogue with the principal actors, they go inside, they're implementing. What are you implementing? People are dying. 15 security forces to die. Tells you that even those who call on that dialogue are supposed to be punished. Because it means that they took Cameroonians for fools. 15 security forces within a twinkle of 5 days is not biscuit. And you can imagine the kind of way, don't talk about civilians and all the like. So at the end of it, I was expecting that the PM would have spoken with the head of state to say, please, how do we come up with dialogue? We have experts at the RIC. What's the international relation? If they cannot do it, we have Professor So Christopher, who had been in charge of conflict resolution department here in the University of Buea. And some of us are there. It is just ego that is making them to refuse to call persons who know what it takes to put in place steps of conflict resolution. So his coming is good. People will dance. They will drink. They will come out with their traditional attires. Traditional rulers, Northwest, Southwest who are present. All of them will come and showcase. After showcasing, what next? Okay. You will showcase, will come out here gun firing at the backyard. It means that your coming was of no essence. So to me, the coming is fruitless on arrival. I'm sorry to say that. Thank you.
Okay, I delve into this other scene, the same light. Prince, what's your take on PM coming to the Southwest?
I think Elvis has spoken, and indeed, it could be, of course, coming to see exactly the atmosphere, take cognizance of how far certain things have been going on. But the essence, just like Elvis did put it, is to revisit the strategy, because where things don't go on well and you definitely see things for yourself, and relatively we are still where we are when the conflict in the Southwest or the crisis started, and it has escalated. So I believe that it is time. I always repeat on this very platform that we need to come back to the drawing board. We need to go back to the table where all the stakeholders have to sit down, discuss with a mediator, because you can't find two elephants fighting and you expect one elephant to champion the cause of asking the other one to maybe succumb to. So I think that it's time for, it has come up to the stage where there must be a mediator, and there must be, of course, a real national dialogue, or a dialogue that will,
inclusive,
end or go far to end the crisis.
Okay, I take you remain in Limbe this time around a copy of Eden newspaper for today, publication of Chief Zach, says Southwest Northwest reconstruction strike challenges X-Rail. What's your take about the presidential reconstruction for the Northwest and Southwest region?
You can see how these guys take off the fools. We are not fools. They should be able to understand. We are not fools. I said reconstruction. Where is it born? As a result of the major national dialogue. Do you now understand why I say it fails on arrival? Bilingualism Commission. Why was it born? Because of national dialogue. Failed on arrival. You cannot be constructing when war is ongoing. If I go now to Management, you put up a health center. Because the non-state actors believe that it was government fund, forgetting that it will help the population, they come and destroy it. Are you telling me that you are going to maintain elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion in every construction site you maintain? How many of them are there? If you want to start reconstructing, they will be in Konya. But anywhere that you have construction, you put them there. Anywhere you have construction, you put them there. Now the civilians are powerless because they don't have arms. You could say no, you people should guard this thing. But when you build and go, even building will not be easy because the contractor can be kidnapped. Yeah. Something can happen, and so it will require the engineering core of the B to come in. Now, how many of them are there? Will you send them to Konya at the same time, to Mbonge, to Kombo Etindi, Kombo Abedimo, and to Waban and all those areas? It becomes critical. So I think that the reconstruction issue also failed on arrival. That's why we're saying that if you look at it, what are some of the measures to show that it failed on arrival? You say you are reconstructing, you launch, you earmark budget, and say you are working in relation with partners. Few months after you come and say you are looking for money, my one kobo is not going anywhere. Because I know when Boko Haram were fighting far north, when I was still living a student at that time, in fact, it was a unanimous affair. Parties, irrespective of where they belong, individuals, some cheap 100. I remember I chipped 1,000 francs. I met as a student at that time.
I did too.
When we were at Congress Hall. Because everybody was like, no, we should fight Boko Haram. So this is reconstruction. And the worst part of it is that they are looking for funds. Which means they are not even said. Why did they go on blowing grammar in the air, putting commissions left to right, when they don't have a dime? And they say, we have already spent this amount. The amount they said they have spent, you are not seeing the effect on the ground. I asked a friend in Kumba, from whatsoever has been spent, from what those in that commission are saying, have you seen any effect? The man told me that maybe the effect came by night and went back in the morning. So you realize that at the end of it, we are acting drama in this country. Okay. We have said that people in Yaoundé, if you don't have work to do, stay in your offices, collect your monies as you are called, and allow us, we are already suffering. Don't come and be touching injured wounds and opening them, because it pains us more when we understand that it is a ping-pong game with nothing good to come out of it. It is good to put that kind of reconstruction, but under conflict resolution, it does not come. You don't take the second step before the first, because when peace is returning, reconciliation is taking place, justice is on the verge, ceasefire has been announced. That's when, if you want to construct even a health center, the people will even carry stones and sand to help you build it in less than no time. Like
the example in South Africa, apartheid South Africa, post-apartheid South Africa, and post on 1994 genocide in Rwanda.
Correct.
Okay.
You see that in those examples you gave. Why do you see Rwanda is going on now, South Africa? Because war has ended. Some people have got them on some media organs telling me that, no, you have to start building psychologically. This is not politics. Yeah, for sure. It is a science. If you want to reconstruct, don't start telling others, no, you are putting in place because you want to further build the mass of the people. Elvis, how do you build the mass of the people when the people are still in agony?
Okay. I think I should add to what Elvis is saying. It's very normal that you cannot construct where there is relatively no peace. Yeah. You cannot go ahead to say you are building a house when you build a house and at the same time it will be destroyed in the minutes that follow. So I believe that what is very, very important is look at the crux of the matter. Go back into where the matter is, and ensure that appropriate steps are taken so that you out there who wants to reconstruct will be able to reconstruct in a very free, clean and clear environment, so that people will appreciate what you are doing. It's not a question of thinking that there are funds,
Okay.
and then maybe the funds will be squingled, or the funds will be taken elsewhere.
All right. I stay with you, Prince Orok. On page 8 on the same newspaper, it tells us about the situation in Kumba. In Kumba, that's Meme 1A section of the CPDM party. It says Meme 1A CPDM reorganization exercise on fire. That's Prince Ekale Mukete petition section electoral committee for bias and partiality. The second point went further to say calls for the dissolution of the local renewal of the committee for incompetence. So what's your take about this? I know you are a Kumba someone, and you know you are more versed with the political terrain in that green city in the southwest region.
I sometimes, Larry, feel so bad when I come back to about Kumba and get about Kumba, considering the fact that factors of one reason or the other got someone displaced here. And by virtue of what it is, it makes me go back into the memory lane. In those very old days, when I was still very, very young, at a principal of Frahakot Secondary School, which in those days, when I just came back for after studies, and by virtue of what it is, militated in the then defunct, I call it old CNU, very, very strong and very, very dynamic as far as Kumba is concerned. Today, if you look at it critically, some people have emerged where they are fighting without even knowing how far the foundations were laid. And that is exactly the problem which is there, because sentiments are rife, and you just have people just going left and right, turning their heads left and right to see what they can do. What is realistic in anything when you come to doing it is how you render the goods.
Okay.
Will they be able to render? Whoever will be put on to be whatever it can be, how is it going to do to come out, and how will it be done in an atmosphere which is not yet an atmosphere of uncertainty? So I just believe that people should first of all take the appropriate steps to ensure that peace reigns in Kumba. And if peace should reign in Kumba, is through the dialogue table. Then you can come out with whatever political maneuvering you can do, then you will succeed.
Okay, I move back to you, Elvis. Elvis, what's your take on CPDM Meme A section being on fire regarding the reorganization of basic organs of the CPDM, as Prince Ekale Mukete says that the procedure was actually void of irregularities and calls for the dissolution of that set of exercise?
Well, I think that if a man cries foul, it's not to be neglected, but is for the officials that be the chargé de missions, as they call them, and the vote counting commissions to have another look on what he has just petitioned. But then, you know, I am a little bit worried about how he presents it, and I know that Meme 1A is always a hot seat.
Okay. First,
because it is a seat of the Bafor people, which by virtue they try everything possible to make sure that at least they protect their existence in that area, which is normal and which is correct. Now, my main issue here is it would be good if Prince Ekale Mukete cries foul so he understands what it means when rigging election is all about. Because when the kangaroo system and the ruling party rigs elections day in, day out, when people cry foul, they don't feel the pinch because they are the ones in charge. Now, if they are rigging the election within them, it's good because let them also know what it takes for mafia. It simply means that someone played fast and outsmart the list of Prince Ekale Mukete. Okay. So if that happens, my good thing is that my good point of view is that they should also taste what it takes for that kind of scenario to take place. But then I think that it's just to tell you that we are already in an expired system.
And then Elvis, I think I want to add, Larry, by saying that we need new broom to sweep the house.
Okay.
We don't need the old people who have been maneuvering and doing everything whatever they have.
But many will argue many will argue is the old wine that tastes more better.
I think it's very, very irrational.
That used to be that
way.
In the Cameroonian context,
it's changing.
It is worse.
It's changing. It's changing, and I think there must be new broom to clean the house. If I'm talking from the point of what that party or whichever area may be, they need the stakeholders who will come in, and maybe people who will have to penetrate and satisfy the population.
Okay, let's delve to Yaoundé to meet the guardian post of Christian Gar for this morning. That says drama in Yaoundé, machete wielding security guard shuts down the Ministry of Transport. What's your take on that, Mr. Fai?
Come again.
That's the caption.
Drama.
That's the caption. The banner headline for the Guardian Post.
Drama in the
Daily.
You know that when a system is confused, sometimes they begin to hit their heads when they are not supposed to do that.
Okay.
When you hear about shutting down the ministry, another government department, shutting down another ministry, you know, it's more of a drama.
You know,
But
it's a
then-
security guard.
Yeah.
We actually did that act.
Yes.
So, what is actually happening with the security situation in Yaoundé and the Ministry of Transport in particular, who has been clamoring on transportation agencies to watch out for the security of their said passengers, but can't secure herself?
No, you know, the main issue here is that we have a phenomenon. When I see government officials come on air and they talk about anybody who deals with security force and all the like, they have lost the ethics of their profession. Me, I'm saying that if I were Yaoundé guys, would have sent all of them batch by batch back to school for reformation.
Okay.
Because you are in a station whereby the security officer thinks that he is the one who controls everything. After he knows that no one can lock him up and things like that. But there are procedures that can be engaged to punish a security officer. If I am there with the Minister of Transport, they're supposed to get to his boss. Because you are looking at a ministerial department, it's a shame. And you are a security guard. So if you look at it critically, the move put in place tells you that there are some issues. But then, the good thing is that when someone does that kind of act, you must ask, what is the problem?
That's it.
Because you will not imagine that I want to block a ministry like that. Something too is definitely wrong.
Okay.
So when we come in this case, we do what we call Nemos Judex Incarnatia. In law, we say hear the other side of the case. So if you want to hear the other side of the case,
Okay.
if I decide now as an individual to go and block the Minister of Justice, as an individual, you know, only a single police can remove me from the road.
For sure.
But if I'm blocking, it means that something must have necessitated my action. The same thing with the crisis. If boys were holding rubber guns,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they now have
AK-47.
RPGs and AK-47s and all the like. Ask yourself, where did we go wrong? How did they go through all this way from rubber gun to cutlasses? Now they are holding this kind. So it means that something went on. So it's an issue that must be investigated on both sides. For me, if you look at it critically, if we investigate and discover that the person was carrying other act due to a particular factor, sometimes you might get the authority that be who caused him to carry other kind of action.
Okay, I move back to you, Prince Orok. Prince, renowned Catholic priest in the person of Reverend Father Etienne Kumba dies. So you can find that story on page 6 on the Guardian Post for this morning. You are not a Catholic, but you are more versed through the religion setting in most parts of Cameroon. So what do you make of the demise of late Father Etienne Kumba, who died last Sunday night?
My condolence to the family. I think even though you become a priest and sometimes you don't so much count on your maternal or paternal lineage, but I think that it is but obvious, Reverend, the Reverend priest who is gone,
Etienne Kumba.
he did his job and he was very renowned within the level of the Catholics. And I just want to say that when people come and go, we remember that we used to know of Cardinal Tumi, who is of blessed memory, and many others who have gone. And it is just a signal to those who are alive, the clergy that do your job well, and equally serve God in the right way.
Okay.
Don't be pretentious, don't be fake, but do what God wants you to do. And at the time you go, perhaps you get to paradise, or on the contrary, if you did not work well, you go to hell. So those of you who are alive in the priesthood or in the pastoralship, you should be able to live up to expectation, be open and be frank, and you are serving God's people, and let God's people appreciate what you can do.
Okay, we'll move over to the Herald Tribune. The Herald Tribune says the armed conflict in the rest of Northwest and Southwest regions, proactive silence of foreign bodies. That is what the newspaper of Victor Cham tells us.
Yes, they are actively silent, yes, but not silent as Cham Victor would think.
Okay.
Because I have the impression that sometimes
because let me just cut you in,
Yeah.
because when the excesses of the military is used to be carried out in the early stage of the conflict, you get to hear from you get to hear from international organizations like Human Rights Watch and UNESCO and a host of others condemning the acts. But now, since it's now the other way around, according to him, that's what's it's happening.
Yes, that's why I said that you could put a caption because you don't master the political gimmicks in the international scene.
Okay.
When you master it, there are some captions you will not put them up because international politics functions at two different levels. There is the front stage and the backstage. Now, if you look at the early stage of the crisis, they were always making utterances. Now, ask yourself, why are they no longer making utterances? Now, their silence doesn't mean that they are not getting up because we are at a digital age whereby they get minute by minute information through their various agencies, through their sponsored non-governmental organizations on the ground, and they have other channels. Now, when you look at it, they will seemingly be looking quiet. But what are they doing? They are currently documenting issues.
Yeah.
I will tell you that if you go to the Gambia, where Yahya Jammeh was on, most of his crimes were not even known. But the moment that he was toppled, that is when a little...
No, he lost. He actually lost the election.
When he lost,
he wasn't toppled.
No, he refused.
he refused to concede.
No, this is the issue. He was toppled because he was defeated in the election also.
Yeah.
And he clicked on power also until an ECOMOG force from Senegal were marching into a city. He escaped.
He escaped.
But so if they did not come in, he had already declared himself as president to continue. You understand?
Sure, yeah.
So, but the main issue here is that when you look at it, they will look as if they are quiet. They are documenting. I want to say this is the most dangerous phase for whosoever is involved in human rights violations.
Okay.
This is the most dangerous because you'll be thinking they're not taking note.
Yeah.
At all the crimes, they are taking note. And when you start seeing them like that, know that preparations are on the ground. I would tell you that this crisis, any moment from now, you will start getting interventions with ground troops because Antonio Guterres has been here more than 6 times. Commonwealth has been here. Francophonie, even if they are corrupt. But how long will they keep playing a deaf ear? So it will get to a point whereby the respective assemblies and the human organization of the respective organs will force those bosses to take action. And that is when you realize that what you thought they were silent, they had a database of all the crimes committed. But one thing is for sure, whether the crisis in this Red Sea area goes on for the next 20 years, I have said one thing clearly. Both the government and the parties involved will go in for. Okay. It is a sure thing. If we're Colonel this, General this, whether in the government or when the time comes, your records will be extracted. You'll be brought before a backed up tribunal. Like the ICC. Like the ICC. That will take place within the regions where the crimes were taking place. So that is when people understand that even if I am a minister, or I am a governor, or I have an amber, a reckoning time is coming when all these things will be taken care of. So, Cham and the headline I see there, okay, silence. They are not silent as per se.
Okay, so we are running out of time. Quickly, we'll move over to this other story that says violation of ethics. Biya sanctioned 12 police officers. Get with that story on page 4. Prince, what's your take on that caption?
I think it's just but normal if at all they violated whatever thing or whatever assignment was given to them. What is very important in the whole issue is before you get somebody to do a job, make sure you are able to get everything that is related to the individual, and the performance will be there. So I think that if the chief executive of the nation comes out to sanction for poor performance, it's a signal to some people who are in that particular system to start sitting up and see what they can do in their respective areas, of our assignments that are given to them.
Okay, let's move over to Kumba to meet the scoop of Larry Essong. The scoop of Larry Essong for this morning says government silence as 15 soldiers massacred in Gorkotunja division of the Northwest region. What's your take on that?
It is a big call for concern. In the US of A, when a single soldier is killed in Afghanistan, the president makes an outing. Yeah. I mean, a single soldier.
But yesterday, Cyril Atomfak search made...
No, don't worry about that. This is the issue. People cannot be fighting for the state and you are dedicating powers. It doesn't function like that. Cameroon is the only country I see this kind of kangaroo operations. That even when you go to when the military base in Kano in Nigeria was attacked, the president made an outing. Yeah, well, you get the point? Yeah. You can't tell me that you are a president in an area in a country and security forces, elitist force for that matter, I call it elitist force, be of that magnitude, with dangerous weapons that were recuperated, and you are sending other persons. No, this requires the president himself to make an official statement and even declare National Day of Mourning. I am afraid to say that the government is not taking the security forces who are protecting this nation serious. I am very sorry to say that, because this one is not an issue you send a boy. No, it is an issue you as the master takes the challenge, brave the odds, and even visit the wounded in the hospitals as president. I mean, those who are still alive, and shake hands with them. Not sending Minister of Defense or Secretary of State for General and other. This is where the error comes in, and I think that I am begging that the powers that be, if you don't begin to take drastic move as a president in this country to make people feel that they are fighting to defend this nation, things might be wrong someday somehow. We don't pray for that.
Okay, let's move over to Yaoundé to meet the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune newspaper of Marie Claire Nana that says volleyball African Championship. Paul Biya congratulates the Indomitable Lionesses for their outstanding victory. Prince, congratulations. Your take on the president congratulating the female Indomitable Lionesses of the volleyball championship.
Fine and good. I think it's just a statesman's responsibility in doing that. And I believe that he has everything to, congratulate his elements when they go out and come back with some trophies or come back with some a job well done. But what I want to say here is the outcome of whatever booty, right, is coming from there. I'm saying that whatever is backing the trophy that has been brought should be put into
the trophy hasn't been
into use.
It's just the winning segment that they have been carrying out. So
okay, they've just been winning.
Haven't been paid.
All right. Okay, if they have been winning, we only pray that they continue winning, and we also pray that other areas where some work is done should continue equally have winners who will win and bring back something that is good.
Okay, quick.
Maybe I just interject a few seconds. Look at the issue. Volleyball, handball, the head of state is making comments.
Yeah.
Security forces are killed. They are dedicating persons. Do you see what they call misplacement of priority? This is an issue that they have won. Yes. The Minister of Sport could do that on behalf of the head of state.
Yeah.
Because lives are not at stake.
For sure.
This has to do with joy. But when lives are at stake, you don't dedicate subordinates to do that kind of job, because the work at which the security forces were doing, it was a task to defend the state in terms of security. Many things are wrong in this country. Okay,
I remain with you, File. This time around, the Northwest and Southwest region, known in French as NOSU, they say it's time for a state of emergency, according to that newspaper, Canal Express.
If they like, they should put state of emergency. Emergency, not even an emergency. It does not change anything. Because if non-state actors put in place ghost town, is ghost town not synonymous to state of emergency? It is synonymous. We are privileged, we can move in Boya, but in Bamera, nobody is out. You go to that area, but other people are indoors.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that one? Because state of emergency will tell you that from this hour to this hour, not so, there's no circulation.
Don't move out.
But it's even like that. State of emergency will not trigger any difference, because the people are used to ghost town where they tell you weeks,
lockdown,
days, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. So state of emergency, that one, which one is serious? So I think we should be serious. I have said people should be proactive. If they don't know governance, they should learn governance. If not, they should borrow other presidents like Goodluck Jonathan and the rest, Adufo in Ghana, and let them come and teach them how to govern a nation. If not, we are making an error.
Okay, let me move back to Prince. That is Set Info Hebdo. Set Info Hebdo newspaper for this morning says the local manufactured rice has been sacrificed for foreign rice or from China and Indonesia, not forgetting Thailand and others. What do you think of that caption, or where we don't actually promote our own made in Cameroon?
You want to promote what? It all depends on the kind of things you do in Cameroon, or what production you bring out.
Like in Dub rice, for instance.
Dub rice, I don't know whether Dub rice is functional.
It's still
is it going on with the crisis?
Yeah, it's
okay. If it is going on, and you are talking about rice, we look at Soderim, or what became of Soderim in Sancho, and all those places. Now you put on certain fields, and at the end of it all, these things don't go ahead. The extractive industry is completely sometimes buried in one way or the other. I think it's a question of revisiting our strategies from the economic standpoint of view, and knowing where we are going to. It makes us go back into the memory lane where we had those good memories or good times with a lot of things that were produced in the past in this nation. And I think that it's time for us to still know where the people who are there, and know who should be and who should be doing what to revamp the system and make people get satisfied.
Okay, let me stop at page 10 of that set newspaper. It says federalism is the only way of the the only way out of the Anglophone crisis. That pronouncement was being made by Diodone Isomba, who is a political analyst and an economist in the nation Cameroon. So, is federalism the only way for the Anglophone crisis, according to Diodone Isomba?
It was then.
Okay.
It was then, not now. So, Somba, first, thank you for feeling our pinch. Thank you for feeling our pain. We have to appreciate that because it's not even easy. But then, in my own point of view, it is the change of leadership that will be the solution. I'm very sorry to say that. I know sometimes the powers that be will not be happy because people have really lost trust. Now they have exhausted all avenues for what they call cosmetic solutions, which has not yielded fruits. Now, dialogue, which is not going, everything is wrong as per the formulas. It now tells you that even the insecurity challenges that we are getting still tells you that it cannot be put under control. One thing, there are two things: a change of regime, one, and point number two, a leader who comes from the English-speaking area as new president.
Okay.
If you change the regime and put in place an English-speaking president with a clause on the constitution that when one rules for 1 or 2 mandates from this part of the English-speaking area, the other should be vice president, not prime minister.
But that
the other area, and vice versa.
That's a federal constitution. I thought it has been replaced.
No, it has been replaced. You are very right. It's a federal constitution that has been replaced with a unitary one, and now with the United Republic one, which tells you that it does no longer spare. In this present one now, it is your prime minister. Because when you are vice president, you form the government.
Yeah.
And when you form the government, you can look at it. There are some ministers or there are some government officials who downplay on the PM.
Yeah, of course.
Because to them they feel they have direct connections with the presidency.
Of course.
But in the case where you mandate a vice president, or not mandate, the voting goes on. President is from the English speaking. Now, after 2 terms maximum, which should not exceed as per the constitution, while you are president and the other one is vice president, when the presidency goes to the French speaking, you protect vice presidentship. You put this one in a rotating manner, it will solve the crisis in less than no time.
Okay.
But if we are relying on the president's status quo, we fire at a 2G. We died on arrival.
Okay, let's stop at Douala to meet the private bilingual daily quotidian emissions for this morning. It says a day as 7 persons died in a road accident and others wounded. Prince, I put this to you. What is happening with our roads?
I don't know whether the roads are roads. If the roads are roads, then they should be, able to host the travelers, because you may have a very good vehicle and then the road is completely bad. And sometimes no signals and you have everything. I just want to say that when things are not going on as expected, infrastructure otherwise, we need to come back to the drawing board. Okay. We need to go back because you have to give the people what they want. Road system or road infrastructure is a public utility, and I believe that it should be well done and done in the right way. Accidents are occurring and many lives are going, which is, all of this signal something, and we need to come back, know where we are coming from and where we are going to.
Okay, let's move over to the newspaper of late Pius Njawe. That's Le Messager. Le Messager for this morning talks about the Anglophone crisis. It says, is Nigeria actually playing a frank game that is regarding the pro-separatist movement, whom they have been using Nigeria as a springboard to launch their attack and acquire weapons into the country? What do you make of that?
Well, while commenting on that, just keeping up with what my brother was just saying here, with the accidents on the highway, if it were a real country, the Minister of Transport would have resigned. Because the number of accidents recorded during his
resignation in Cameroon seems like a taboo.
Yes, that's why I say that when the kangaroo system is adjusted and the kangarooism eroded, you begin to get people who will be resigning for failing in performing their duties. Now, in Nigeria, I will not say that they are playing a game, because when you leave your house to go and call Oga Business to come and rescue you, be sure that Oga Business is first of all fine in his own house. Because if he is having wahala in his house, he will only tell you, no, Mr. Fa, please just go, I'm coming. Just go, I'm coming. He will not come because first the wahala in his own house, he was even thinking of coming to call but me to come and help him. By the time he was thinking of coming to call for me, I already entered his house and said, Papa, my house is on fire. What am I saying? The security challenges Nigeria has are security challenges that Nigeria will not even want to mingle with the issues that Cameroon is plunging them into.
Okay.
Because if you look at the border from Akwaya right up to Benakuma stretch of road, right up to Ako itself, and Messager right to Mwa, it is a very large porous border which shares boundaries between Cross River State and Taraba State. Now look at this. You have the thickness of the forest and the habitations between both countries is vast. If you look at it, they'll tell you that if you go to Mwa, if you go to Akwaya, it has one of the richest areas for the cultivation of rice. But part of that area is you have a Nigerian farmers who are there.
Yeah.
Because Cameroon government has neglected that area, and so part of that area that was supposed to be occupied by Cameroonians, nobody is living there. So Nigerians are making use of the area, and the rice is going back to Nigeria. So at the end of it, with the security challenges, imagine you go to Kano, and a war college is attacked, and officials adopted.
In Borno the same.
Which was supposed to be the most secure. It tells you that Buhari is not finding it easy. So you don't come and be bothering him with your own wahalas when the one he has is almost moving his head. He has sleepless night. So that's why I said that the government is counterproductive. If they have put in place dialogue as expected under the principles of conflict resolution, you will not be calling Buhari to come, because by implication all those holding arms will see no need to hold the arms. They will drop it and come back, reconciliation, and they build the Cameroon. But since as it is an arrogant system, those are the consequences we get, counterproductive.
Okay. Thank you very much, File Ayavis Tayong, for coming for the program.
Thanks very much. Our investigations on the Kumba
PTA.
chieftaincy dispute and the PTA issues, very sad too that the minister is endorsing it.
25,000
maximum. When we're talking about even considering the IDPs, so it means that
10,000.
something is wrong somewhere. But I will definitely get to the minister these days in Yaoundé to get our own side of the story. But the bad thing is that while you are investigating, as parents are complaining, some principals are collaborating with the media team and the investigation team. Like as I said, GBHS Limbe, GBHS Mutengene, the principal, the lady has said no, she will not want to talk when there are skirmishes and complaints coming about how she's managing 16,000 francs PTA in the school. So when a principal refuses to talk to the press, it means she's hiding something. We continue with the investigations. We'll bring to you startling revelations about how the PTA is a mafia deal put in place.
Okay, best of luck in your investigations. Then to you, Prince Orong, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you in the studio.
It's a pleasure. I think we'll always be there, and we only hope that what we say here, it's going to bring about love, peace, and of course the idea of living in a collective way.
Okay, televiewers, with that wise word from the two gentlemen with me, I say a big thank you for all of you who welcome us in your various homes this day, the 21st of September 2021. That happens to be International Day for Peace. As I will always say, let peace lead us in our various aspects of life that we go, and regarding the ongoing socio-political impasse in the country, may peace be the watchword to all of you. As I say, God bless you, God bless Cameroon. Coming up next is Oga Business with the one and only Oga Business himself. Will be mounting that program with a battery of guests that he will be having. Meanwhile, Mebe Camden will be coming up with the news in English by 8 p.m. Cameroon time. Stay glued to the same station as more interesting programs are coming your way. Bye-bye.